Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we got this flat out 442. This car was a gift from Champion DK. You can clearly see this thing is beat up. The windshield is a mess. It has, especially in the front, it has a very strong toning. We'll see what we can do. You can see this model does not have the Pentagon on the side. Later on you'll see what I mean if you don't know what I mean. Black walls, only one post, metal base, and we're just gonna go ahead with the procedure to make a mark with this center punch. That way we can start drilling. Little towel here. I use the small drill bit. Very slowly. I've never worked on one of these cars before, so this is all new to me. Got the bigger drill bit here. Remember, everything I use, there's going to be a link in the video description. This is going to be a slow process. I'm going to leave everything, so make sure you're comfortable. You could watch, so you could watch the whole thing. And you can see I used a flat tip to try to remove the border of the mushroom post there. If I can't get it, I'll use the drill bit again. And like I've always said, the purpose is so I could break the car apart without the drill bit touching the base. That way it doesn't leave any mark. Even though that part will be covered up with the button head screw, I still like to do it this way. Do the same thing when I open up a plastic base car. I don't like to go with the drill bit all the way down to the base. You can see sometimes you're really careful. It does take some time. You don't want to rush it. Sometimes I watch some videos and people just go crazy with that drill bit, and I cringe over here. You can mess up a car if you're not careful with that drill bit. There you can see the interior is full of dirt. This thing is, that usually happens when you have cars that the windows don't cover up the side. You get all that dirt go inside. So now I'm gonna finish up drilling up the post here, just so I could tap it, making sure that it's deep enough. All right, so now I have some hot soapy water over here. I'm gonna clean up everything, see how everything looks, and using a small brush, trying to do away with the big dirt. Clean as much as I can. Here you can see the windshield, the toning. The interior. You see it has no seat. The seat is part of the base. The base is, it has a lot of corrosion. So I'm going to use this Dremel adapter here to, you see this crimp down method here. I'm going to take away one of the side very slowly. I can't cut the axle since I'm not planning on using the black ball wheels, but I don't know why I always like to save them. You never know when you're gonna need them. Even though they're pretty beat up, I like to save them. So I'm gonna do this to both sides until the axle, I can pop it out. Alright guys, so here is the casting after the paint removal. You can see the roof. The roof is in bad shape. You can see that it was scratched badly, and it left a lot of scratch marks, and they are deep. Oh, here's the base. We're going to be doing some electro polish. Electro polish works 1,000 times better than using any solution that you could buy in the store, but I only use it on, some cars. Here I'm speeding up the video, dipping it again. You don't want to leave it in there because it will get damaged. And like I said, it's 1,000 times better, but sometimes I prefer to use the store method because it's a lot faster, and I don't like to dig out all this stuff and all this acid and put it back to back away. So here's the base, and this is the casting down. So it's the acid, and I have a bowl of water to rinse it off. You can see the roof there, and every time I take it out, I brush it with a brass brush. Try to take out and clean it up as much as I can. Try to take out any of the solution that's left and any marks. If the casting wasn't in good shape, electro polish would be all you need. But you gotta remember, this car was originally painted with enamel, so now I'm doing zinc plating because I am going to do Spectre Flame Orange. And with the zinc plating, I could hide, you can see some of the damage on the roof. I couldn't hide everything, but that's how it looked after polishing. And here it is, all painted up. When we're using micro sol and micro set, I use micro set first, and here are the water slide. That's the Pentagon right there, and I got these from Second Chance Red Lines on eBay. Their customer service is second to none. You can see these are, they're printed on a white background. So they print, I think, the white first, and then on top of the white they print again whatever color. And notice that the background of the paper is a different color, which helps you, like I'm cutting right here, I'm separating it because on the door the door is recessed from the quarter panel and the fender, so it will be impossible to install this as a one shot deal. So I got to break it apart, and being that these decals have that blue background, it makes it a lot easier. And also, I don't know what kind of clear coat he uses on the water slide, but it just makes it everything so nice. It's very thin, so you got to be careful with it, but just without using any clear coat afterwards, you can barely see the line. So, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. There, I'm trimming a little bit, as much as I can. Again, this is the first time I do one of these cars, so everything is like a learning curve. So there I use microset, the blue one, to get the surface ready. I find that using microset helps me a lot better than using plain water to move the water slide around once I place it and adjust it and just to where I exactly want it. Sometimes it's difficult to grab from the water, and with water slides, every once in a while you take it out of the water and you try to separate the water slide from the backing paper. If it doesn't want to go, you place it back in the water. You don't want to rush it, and you definitely don't want the water slide to separate inside the water, because sometimes they curls up and now you have a problem. You're gonna have to order some more water slides. So every time is different depending on what type of clear coat the person uses. The time of separation, it's different. So it's safer just to keep checking it. There you go, see? Now it's loose. Just like that. Now I just gotta do minor adjustments. And at the same time, I have my computer on with a big picture of the real car, and I'm using that as a base. You can see on that little corner on the right bottom, I could have cut a little better, but like again, everything is a learning curve. On the other side, I cut that piece out and made it a lot easier. So I use a broken piece of napkin here to take away the excess solution. So don't force it. You can see that's lifted on that corner, and that's why I use the microsol. Microsol helps everything, like it melts everything into place. That's why you don't want to use that one first. You leave that one for last. Make sure that the water slide contours to the surface of the car. And if you can't get it the first time, don't force it. What I do is, once I'm happy with the position, I go and I use my wife's hair dryer, and I heat it up. You can see it's still lifted a little bit, so I go at it again with the microsol, and it'll slowly bend into that crease right there. Now you got to be careful also, because depending on the clear coat that the person uses, that Microsoft could dissolve it and melt it. When you use the hair dryer, make sure you straight on. Don't go on an angle, because if it's not in there perfectly, it'll lift. It'll lift the water slide. And here I'm debating if I should do this as a one piece. And I'm sorry out of the frame there, but I'm dealing with a small item here, so I gotta make sure that I'm seeing. There I changed my mind. I'm like, nope, separating this two and making it a lot simpler to install. I'm so glad I did that, because the top of the fender is very thin, so it would have been very, very difficult to get that shape of the fender. So it's a lot easier just to cut it out. There you go. On this video, I left the process of one side. As you can see, this is not a 2-minute job. It'll take you some time. I'm trying to cut that little piece there. Which I just didn't want to get up. I go over there and get my X-Acto knife, and this is the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to use your X-Acto knife to cut around, and not a scissor, but bad habits. It goes back into the water. Same process. I use micro set. You see the top of the fender is very thin, so it would have been near impossible to cut that whole piece to go on there smoothly. So it's a lot easier just to cut and separate the two water slide. So this turned out to be on each side. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. It's going to turn out to be 5 pieces for the whole side. Because you still have the area with the pentagon right after the door, and then the other piece that goes all the way to the back. And here you can see that I'm still testing to see if it separates. There, I got it to separate. And now, because I'm using the micro set, you see it's all sideways with the same tweezers here. I could just align it. You could use a toothpick also. Got the mat pin over here. Take away the excess liquid. Some micro saw. Make sure it sticks down real good. All right, and I'm back. Check it out. Now I gotta let this sit for at least 24 hours before I clear coat it. If nobody's gonna touch it, I guess you could leave it like that. But clear coat is what most people are afraid of, because you could damage your whole completely job there, whole paint job. because if it's not completely dry, it will bubble up. Now I'm going to be working with this. This is the base. You can see I grounded off one of the corners. For this, I'm going to be using these axles here. They are made so you can use the old style of the push-on type of wheels. I will also leave a link on the video description. They are not cheap, but right now I don't know of any other method on how to use these old style wheels, and that's the purpose of this video, is to transform this into an old school Redline. They had a special. If you buy 2 sets, they send you 4 wheels, but look at the quality here. Definitely not the same as Bright Vision. And these are 2 mediums and 2 large. They are deep dish, but there's a big problem. Deep dish wheels were only available on Hong Kong version cars, and Hong Kong version cars had chrome wheels or hubcaps, however you want to call them. You can see these are gray. The US version cars had gray color wheels or hubcaps, but deep dish was not available. So I guess these go with a US made type of Redline custom. Oh, I don't think I'm never gonna use them because I don't like the gray colors that much. I would only use it on a true restoration that I'm really obligated to use the gray color. Now here, they sell these different length. So what you do is you measure your car. They use, I believe, centimeters. So you gotta use the Google machine to transform that into centimeters. You can see it fits perfect. So I'm going to try to center it. I don't like to glue down axles, but I feel like on this I have to. I'm going to be using Gorilla Glue, gel, I should have had this open. It looks about center right there. Just a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. And I'm going to be using an accelerator, this one, but I don't use it in the spray bottle anymore because you end up wasting too much and you get everything else wet that doesn't need to. So I use these needle bottle. All you gotta do is go like this, and that's it. It's ready to go. Let's do the one in the front. Let's try to get this centered up. I think the easiest way is to take the bearing, to go the furthest to the side, which is not easy. That's why I don't like gluing axles, but I feel like I have to on this because the interior doesn't really have the tabs to hold the axle in place. These old casting are different from the new ones. And Just a little drop, and it's ready to go. Now from here, it's regular business. That's a red line. Use your tool here. Bright Vision also sells this. Let me do the back first. So I do like that. Put it in the back. Push it in. It's a little bit tight, but there it is. That's another thing. The bearings, they're not perfect like an original, so they're not really tight. The wheels don't end up being really tight, so you gotta make a decision if you're gonna leave them as is. You can see this, they got a lot of wobble here. They're not perfect, but the problem is not the wheel. The problem is the little bearing here. I asked Bright Vision and on Instagram, they told me that I think in the past they done it, or they're working on trying to do the axles, but the moment they do, I'll be sure to buy one to test it out, because even an old original axle is still better. It would have less play than these, but I don't think you're gonna buy an old red line just to take out the axle. Plus the axle is completely different. See, that one was tight. Pretty sure that one's not gonna go out. The ones in the back, look, this one is gonna give me problems. So I know that on this one, I'm gonna have to make a decision. And look, right now, since the axle is chromed out, the glue is not holding it down. It can move from side to side, which is good. I like that. That way I can center the wheels once I put the base back to the car. So that's good. Yeah, I can do the same in the front. So that glue is actually working like it's like a clamp, but even better, because when the Hot Wheels clamp doesn't allow you to move side to side. So this is ready. All I gotta do now is wait for that to dry and clear coat it. Wait a few hours. Since I bake it, it's ready to be touched in only 30 minutes. But even though it's ready, I still like to wait at least 8 hours before I start putting things back together, especially with something like this that it clamps in the front, so it's going to be scratching the paint. So I like to wait until that's completely cured. So I'm going to wait and I'll be back with the finished product. All right guys, check it out. Nice and crystal clear urethane clear coat. Here is the windshield. That's one of the bad things about this casting, is that nobody sells a replacement window. This one is especially bad on this corner right here. Try to put it on a peroxide water, hydrogen peroxide, and with the sun it's too far gone. I want to thank Diecast Outcast though. Gave me a tip. Using this ink, you could tint out your floor shine, and that managed to hide a lot of the messed up parts on this windshield. It looks very awesome. Got the interior here. To put this back together, you gotta do this first. Hook it here. And swapped out the wheels. I originally had small and medium. Now I have medium and large. Large in the back. Looks better on this casting. So now we gotta push push the part of that front grille here, and everything just falls in place. Gotta hook the headlights. Make sure everything's aligned. Oh yeah, there it is. Let me know if you ever seen a better looking flat out 442. You can see originally this one did not have the Pentagon here, but the water slide that I bought has them. And I said, why not? Does not make it any rarer. Let me put in the turntable and I'll be back. Alright guys, so let's take a quick look at what we started with. And you can see that this thing did not have an easy life. It was all beat up. But now it's back to life. I think everything turned out pretty good considering that the roof was not looking very good. I was able to manage to hide a lot of the damage with the sink plating. And this baby now is ready to join the small club of Sweet 17. If you know, the first year of Hot Wheels, it was 16 cars, and those are known to be the Sweet 16, right? So I have a small series going where I did this one, turned it into a red line. Check out that Nova. And I also have this one, a Ford Fairmont, also Hot Wheels. And this is my Sweet 17 collection. That's gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. It's a long video. See you in the next one.